Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron VR. Today got another manga spotlight video for today. This is the Ghost Reaper Girl Volume 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back here and let's see what we got. Alright, so it is Viz Media, it is Shonen Jump, it is rated older teen, and it's got an MSRP of $9.99. Let's go ahead and take a look, see here what we got. So, Choli, again, I apologize if I mispronounce this. I'm not great when it comes to names. Has dreamed of leading a glamorous life of an actress ever since she was little. But being the ripe old age of 28 might be working against her. Her and her spontaneous displays of violence aren't helping her either. Not all hope is lost, however. She might be perfect for the role offered by a mysterious and charming new man in her life. Can Chol become the Ghost Reaper girl and take down the evil spirits that have escaped from Hades? We shall see. Um, with that, let's go ahead and dive into this. When it comes to non-spoilers, overall, I like this, but there's kind of a caveat with this one. We'll talk about it in the spoiler sections. But if you're a fan of the magical girl genre, for me, I'm always big into the magical girl. You guys know if you watch my Endless Collectibles channel, I am a huge Sailor Moon fan, and this one has a more adult Halloween, very dark magical girl vibes. This is not your cutesy type of princess type of story, but it's got a very unique twist to the magical girl genre, and I enjoyed it. It's just the character building really lacks on this one. So, if you want a unique story that deals with magical girls when it comes to like Halloween and ghosts and spirits, this is definitely going to be the manga for you. So, with that, that's really all I can talk about when it comes to non-spoilers. So we're going to dive right into it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to watch this video at a later time. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So the whole premise behind it is that you've basically got these spirits that have escaped the afterlife world of basically Hades. They have come into the real world. They have possessed the humans, and they just want to continue to rain terror on the real world, quote unquote. So with that, we follow a particular woman named Chol. Oh my goodness, I can't pronounce it. Chol, and we see her kind of struggle through trying to become an actress. She's interviewing to get a particular role, and then the person that's interviewing her is basically gets possessed, and she's able to escape. She's got some interesting kung fu moves, which seems to be a trend in this particular volume. But with that, she continues to run away from this particular person who's possessed by a ghost. And then when she gets cornered by these humans that have been possessed by these particular ghosts, we run into another character, and his name is K. And this particular person's not your normal human. He's basically with part of the bureaus of Hades. And at first, Kay has kind of a big crush on Cole and wants to possess her body. Obviously, she's taken that completely the wrong way, and then she's able to escape because Kai was able to help her escape, and then she runs away. But then when she realizes that she's kind of backed into a corner, she gets captured again on a subway line when these ghosts try to basically possess her in a way. Kai again saves her. She runs away, but then Kai finds herself in another kind of predicament that he is now captured by these ghost, these spirit mediums, essentially, I think is what they call them. And so this just when all is lost, Cole comes back, or Chol, Cole or Chol, again, I don't know how to pronounce her name, comes back and then realizes, yep, we need to do this. So what's cool about this is that you've got a ghost spirit kind of transformation. So Cole basically takes the, I don't see how I can describe this. So it's basically Kai fuses with Cole in a way, and this is where the magical girl elements come into play. So they essentially, or she essentially takes the power of Kai and was able to transform into basically this figure right here. The Ghost Reaper girl kind of comes from a TV show, I believe, that she was a part of. It wasn't going to get a renewal season, but Kai here was a fan of it, and so they kind of, that's where the nickname comes from for the Ghost Reaper girl. And so she basically transforms in the magical girl sense of it, and we see her transform into this. Now, Kai basically spirits is part of the scythe. He is the scythe, and so he's able to talk to Cole about tactics and so forth. But anyways, we see this Ghost Reaper girl transformation. It's the best way I can describe it. And she was able to slay these Ghost Reaper that was basically possessing these people. And so that's basically our first transformation that we see in this particular volume. There's actually two. We'll get to it here in a second. But anyways, we kind of go into some more context that Kai is basically trying to capture and deal with all these ghosts that have escaped Hades. And he's part of the Bureau of the Arcane Bullets, which we'll talk about here in a second. But we go to Chol's apartment, where we are met with kind of another ghost, a soul eater essentially, and this person's name is Noel Uthar. And as we progress through the story, basically Noel, it confused me at first, and that's one thing that, again, this manga has somewhat of a difficulty doing is character development, and that is definitely a trend in this. But again, I still enjoyed it, but it's definitely weak on the character development, which I'll go a little bit more into detail when I talk about some of the bad things about this volume. But so we go into Noel, and from my understanding, it was confusing at first, and I really had to reread it. But Noel was basically a ghost, very similar to Kai from, we don't know the backstories yet, but basically the same type of spirit ghost that Kai is. But Noel was possessed by another curse ghost and caused Noel to basically go on an eating frenzy. Basically, they call it the soul eater, and was basically trying to eat all the souls in the overworld. And so Noel and Kai, or not Noel, excuse me, Kai and Kai and Noel basically fight it out in Cole's apartment, and Noel basically retreated because he was getting his butt kicked, and then Kai and Cole went after him, and that's when they figured out that, oh, it's a ghost that possessed a ghost. So that was interesting because sounds like a double negative, but it works in a way. Anyways, so they transform. Cole goes into basically her Ghost Reaper girl form, power, and then she was able to slay the curse away from Noel, and then Noel becomes basically a good guy and basically becomes part of the team, which is interesting. And then they go to the Bureau in Hades. Well, I can't necessarily say if it's in Hades or not. It doesn't really say. But anyways, they go to the Bureau of the Arcane Bullet, and it really gives me the vibe of, like, if you read the Goblin Slayer fairy tale and so forth, you got this guild, the inn, where it's a central point of getting all these quests and everything. Ghost Reaper Girl has that with the Bureau of the Arcane Bullet. Basically, they're going to sign her up to hunt all of these spirit mediums. But when they try to do that, a friend of Kai's gives her basically a really hard time, and Kai basically says she's the chaos. She's a succubus, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. It is a name that's way over the top for me, so I'm just going to say the female succubus for right now, just to keep it simple. But the female succubus has other agendas. She wants Cole, and basically knives up, or basically drives a knife through Noel, which caught me off guard for sure. And then Noel was basically fading, and then Cole was able to use Noel to transform into a cat form, which gives her a new abilities. And that is actually really cool that she can basically take these entity of ghosts and she can get a different power up depending on which person she basically absorbs into or fuses with. And I think that type of mechanic is very unique to this. I haven't seen really any other like magical girl take this type of approach. The only thing that really comes really close to that is Card Capture Sakura. And obviously, if there's other mangas I haven't read out there that has something to this, I'm just saying from what I've read in my personal collection and library that this is the first time I've run into a mechanic like this before, where you basically take another soul, another human entity, and be able to combine into a form like this. I mean, Digimon kind of came close to that in the later seasons, but I like how they did it here, that basically transform and we get a different ability. So I think that was really cool how that was kind of set up. So, and that's basically where this volume ends. Overall, I do like the story. I think the biggest thing I like about this volume is the mechanic. That mechanic that Cole can take these other human entities and transform into these different types of power and abilities and so forth. I think that's really cool. The bad about this is that, like I said, the character development really struggles on this. In only 2 pages, we basically got the backstory of Cole. Basically, she is a person that was raised in the slums, and she basically had to work her way to become a so-called named actor. And that was basically it. We don't get a family. All we know is that, she was raised from the slums. She has an apartment, and she's trying to do an acting gig. And now she's able to transform into these superpower abilities. So I'm trying to feel for Cole. I'm trying to resonate with her as the main character, as the main protagonist, but the setup is pretty bad when it comes to her, and that's the problem I had with it. So much, in fact, that with modern day Hollywood, we got a lot of wokeism type of mechanics that we've got the girl that's key to everything, or that all the other male actors always go to the female to say, "Oh, you're awesome, you're the chosen one," yada yada yada. I got a lot from this. I'm not sure if that's what the author was trying to portray. It's very, I don't even want to say that it's woke. I think the problem here is that there's not a lot of character development and not a lot of backstory for Cole right now to really believe that she's worthy of these other abilities. I needed more. Like, I wanted at least a full chapter's worth of backstory when it comes to Cole. Hopefully we get that in later volumes, but right now that's the biggest problem I have with this. So we'll see how that develops. Again, I am being kind of harsh. I know it's only the 1 volume, but I want a character to really draw me in. And I felt kind of, when I was reading through this, it's like, oh man, it feels like she's getting all the powers. Her backstory, yeah, is there, but I needed more of it. And that was the biggest problem I had with the Ghost Reaper Girl Volume 1. But I'm going to give it, I'll give it my 3 volume rule. But overall, I do like the mechanic, the mechanisms behind her transformation, how she gets her powers and everything. So overall, I do recommend it. But yeah, I can't wait to read this forward. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any manga suggestions, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe down below. If you support my work, feel free to look me up at rayronvr.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Big hugs to you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.